Hello there, guys. How's it going today? It is a Saturday, March 30th, 2024, and welcome back to my Seahawks page. I'm streaming live today, not only to my new Seattle Seahawks channel, the Seahawk Boys Fearless and Stupid NFL channel, but also to my other YouTube channels because I don't know, doing Seahawks mocks drafts like this should be pretty much, I don't know, harmless and should avoid the censorship acts from YouTube. So, welcome to the show. Glad to have everybody here. Everybody who is nobody right now, but that's okay. I'm going to put the recording up and, we're going to have some fun here today. But the reason why we're doing this show is I'm bored. It's a gloomy, rainy Saturday afternoon in Las Vegas, Nevada, and it is mock draft silly season. And today we're going to recreate, and we are going to do some commentary on yesterday's Movin the Chains SiriusXM radio mock draft 2.0 with Pat Kerwin and Jim Miller. So stay tuned and we'll be right back for that. All right, welcome back. Great to have you guys here. One of you, two of you? Oh, there's a couple people there. Now, guys, if you're, this is not a normal show. We're not going to talk about currencies. We're not going to talk about the financial situation. We're not going to talk about economics. This is all about football. This is just one of my distractions, one of the things I do to keep myself sane. And I would, however, invite you to head over to the Seahawk Boys Fearless and Stupid YouTube channel and like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. Let me see if I can view the channel on YouTube. Here it is. We'll do a little screen share here and just slide on over there to the Seahawk Boys Fearless and Stupid YouTube channel, where you can pick up all kinds of really, really cool stuff just about football. There's a welcoming video. Oh, no, it's this one. I want to share this tab instead. There it is. Seahawk Boys Fearless and Stupid YouTube channel. Why it's the Seahawk Boys is because occasionally my brother Dave is going to join me on some of this. We did our own mock draft, 2-round mock draft, I think, last week. This is just for fun. Nothing serious. There are no news updates on all the normal things you're curious about. But get on over there to the Seahawk Boys Fearless and Stupid NFL channel. And if you can, like, subscribe, ring the little bell so you get alerts, and watch the videos. Even if you just set the video up on your phone while you're doing something else and let it run, it gives it a view. And the only reason this really matters is so we get more channel circulation, more people see the videos, and I would really, really appreciate that. Okay, today what we're going to do is yesterday there was a mock draft done by the guys over at SiriusXM NFL Radio. I've been on their show many times. Jim Miller, former NFL quarterback, Pat Kerwin, former NFL executive. Two interesting guys, two really smart guys that I love to talk football with. I'm on their show on a fairly regular basis. You just call in and we talk Seahawks. Pat is really good friends with Valerie. Hi, Valerie. I love you too. I haven't seen you in forever. We haven't talked in a long time. We have to talk again. In fact, Valerie, you need to come to Vegas and visit me. We should have some fun here. Anyway, they're really smart guys, and I listened to their mock draft yesterday, and I thought it was really, really interesting. And I thought, well, let's go through it and recreate it, just for the hell of something to do. So we're going to slide on over there to the actual. Now I'm using the draft that I'm going to use is the Sports Skita mock draft simulator. The reason I like this one, what do I think of the NFL banning hip drop tackles? Look, there's no such thing as a hip drop tackle. It's a tackle. It's tackle football. It's a smaller player using his weight to bring down a bigger, stronger player. That's what I did when I played tackle football. It's the agenda behind this is so that New York, and by New York I mean Roger Goodell and Las Vegas, the gamblers, can manipulate the outcome of games, because now virtually any tackle can, as a judgment call, be called a hip drop tackle because it just looks like any other tackle, and it can be penalized and it can change the outcome of games and control the outcome of games. That's what I believe is the agenda behind it. There's no player safety involved. The players didn't even want it. The players union said this is ridiculous. We don't want this. So this is about manipulating the outcome of games. And why then do I care about a sport that's fixed? Well, not every game is fixed and not every outcome is going to be fixed, but there are going to be occasions when it's going to be obvious. Now, my prediction with the hip drop tackle is that what they're going to do is the first week, there is going to be a game whose outcome is changed by a hip drop tackle call. There's going to be a game first weekend for sure. There's going to be all the storm and controversy, and they're going to say, well, we're not going to change it, and maybe the call was wrong, and maybe the call was right, but we really think, that it's a good rule and we're going to keep it. And then they're just going to try to normalize it from there on out. So that's my prediction. We shall see what happens. Okay. Great to have you guys here. Let's run through this. Now, we're going to set the settings on this to why I like Sportskeeda is because it's Tony Pauline, who is, kind of a amateur scout guy. He's worked for some NFL teams before. He's good friends with Rob Staten, who's NFL Draft Blog I really like and respect. And I have zero respect for the rest of Seahawks Twitter. Basically, outside of, Randy Mueller, former Seahawks GM, Randy Mueller, and Rob Staten, I think the rest of these guys are a bunch of dumb shits. And so I like to come in and correct them. And yes, the Seattle Seahawks need to draft a quarterback first in this draft. I don't care if they trade down and do it. I don't care if they trade into the second round, but they need to get a franchise quarterback. And Geno Smith, love him or hate him, is not good enough. Okay, so we're going to set this up. We're going to do one round. We're going to do all the teams. So we're going to be making all the picks, and we're going to enter the solo draft. Now, this is really interesting because the first team up, of course, is the Chicago Bears. But Pat Kerwin's from Boston, and he knows people in Boston. He also knows Pete Carroll and knows some people in Seattle. So I listen to what he says, and what he's hearing, what he says is that the Bears do not want to draft the consensus number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams. They don't like him. They have problems with him, and he's honestly done some things to put the Bears off, to try to discourage them from drafting him. I don't know why, because he's an idiot, because the Bears are going to have, with the picks they have, a lot of good players coming up. But they don't want, doing things like wearing pink lipstick, having a pink cell phone case, and painting his fingernails pink while he's out in public. That's gay AF. And I think the Bears do not think he's mature, and they do not want another guy after Mitchell Trubisky and Justin Fields that's not prepared to play in the NFL. There are some quarterbacks that are more prepared than others, and Caleb Williams just is not prepared. I see Caleb Williams' ceiling as Cam Newton. Now, you might go, well, Cam Newton won the MVP, yeah, but he never won a Super Bowl, and he barely won any playoff games because Cam Newton has no heart. He had a lot of talent, but no heart. If Cam Newton had Russell Wilson's heart, he would have won a Super Bowl, but he never did, and he never will. So what I hear is that, Kerwin thinks there's going to be a trade. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop up the trade that he suggested. And it's weird. Sometimes it'll reject the trade if you do it. Like if I have Chicago trade with New England, it'll reject the trade. But if I have New England trade with Chicago, the exact same trade, it works. So we're just going to run through this a couple times. We're going to pick Chicago. We're going to pick New England. New England wants to come up from number 3. In order to do that, Chicago's going to give up the first pick, and New England's going to give up 3, 34, and 68. And that is the proposal, and it has been accepted. Now, that may not seem like much for the first overall pick, but if both teams want to trade, they'll do a trade. Now, this is interesting because what this does is it gives the Bears only have 4 picks in this draft. So they could trade down to number 3, still get the quarterback they want, because we're pretty sure we know who's going second, and end up with 2 extra picks. And there's a possibility. Kerwin said he heard that they also wanted to trade the 9th overall pick, but we don't know that for sure. We just know that in his scenario, that did not happen because of who was available there. So Let's go ahead and do this. The Caleb Williams is going to go to the New England Patriots. It seems like a bizarre fit if you think of the Patriots as the Bill Belichick Patriots, but they're not. He's not their kind of quarterback. It won't work for them. But I think that Gerard Mayo, the new head coach, black head coach, wants a black quarterback. I think Gerard Mayo is an overt racist. And if I was the owner and he said some of the shit he said at his opening press conference about black players and white players, I would have fired him on the spot for racism, overt racism. But this is the woke NFL. This is woke 2024. He got away with it. I think he wants to take a black quarterback, and I hope it epically fails for that reason. Now, the Washington Redskins are up next. I refuse to call them the Commanders. Everybody knows who they're going to take. They're going to slide on up and take Jaden Daniels of LSU in spite of his weird-looking elbow. Wow, this guy's weird. He is a good passer. He's a terrific runner. And he's probably the best deep ball thrower. Some people think he's the best deep ball thrower in this draft. I do not. I'm going to tell you who I think is later, but he's pretty damn good. So they're going to take Jaden Daniels, the super athletic quarterback out of LSU. And now it comes down to Chicago, and they may have some trade offers, but they're not really going to take any of them. They are going to go with Drake May, the quarterback from North Carolina, 6'5", 220, talented signal callers. He's more pro-ready than other quarterbacks right now. But I'm going to remind you again, a few years ago, they took Mitch Trubisky. And Mitch Trubisky, they said the same things about him, that he was pro-ready. He was ready to go. He had fewer starts than May. But I wonder, does it say how many starts? It doesn't say how many starts he had in his college career. But, quarterbacks that have more starts in their college careers tend to do better. However, they are going to take Drake May at number 3 in this draft. And that's Pat Kerwin's pick. Pat Kerwin's picking the odd numbered drafts selections, and Jim Miller is picking the even numbers. So now it comes up to the 4th pick overall, the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the Arizona Cardinals can use quite a few different things: wide receiver, defensive tackle, cornerback, edge, offensive guard. But they're also going to trade out of this pick because, according to Jim Miller, he's got somebody else, the Denver Broncos, who have only the 12th pick in this draft. They're pretty desperate to move up. They're pretty desperate to get the quarterback they want. Sean Payton is a loser. And look, if they sit at 12, the best they can hope for is probably Bo Nix. They could get Michael Penix there, but he's not a fit for what Sean Payton tries to do. And by the way, the worst draft pick in NFL history or the worst trade in NFL history is not the Russell Wilson trade. It's trading a 1st and a 2nd round pick for Sean Payton by the Denver Broncos. So we're going to get a trade going here. It's going to be between Denver and Arizona. So we're going to go Arizona is going to trade with Denver. And the trade is going to be Arizona's number 4 overall pick, and Denver is going to trade 12. Their 1st next year, their 76th pick this year, and their 2nd round pick next year. And it's been rejected. So we got to try it again, reverse it. We're going to go this time. We're going to go Denver first, and then we're going to go to Arizona. We're going to make the absolute same pick selections. And now my trade has been accepted. It's weird how it does this, and it doesn't seem to follow a pattern. But Jim Miller has Denver trading up here to take the most overrated player in this draft. I think he's 28th in this list. J.J. McCarthy, the Michigan quarterback. People love his intangibles. They say he has a great arm. A lot of people like him. He's an athletic guy, but he hardly throws for any yards. But they're going to go with J.J. McCarthy, the Michigan quarterback from the national champion Michigan Wolverines, as the number 4 overall pick. Okay, that leaves the Chargers on the clock. And the Chargers, of course, with new head coach Jim Harbaugh, have a lot of different options. The thing that they have needs of, their number 1 need is wide receiver. They got rid of both of their wide receivers, Mike Williams and I forget the other guy, but the Cal player that they've had. It seems obvious. A lot of mock drafts have Marvin Harrison as the number 1 overall rated receiver in this draft. I think Romo Dunze from Washington is number one. But believe it or not, Kerwin thinks that they are going to go with Malik Neighbors from LSU, who doesn't really, he's not bigger, he's not faster. It's just that he is a hot commodity right now, and he's shooting up the draft board. So the Chargers fill their most desperate need at wide receiver. Then we come to the New York Giants. They aren't going to wait. The number one, a lot of teams have Marvin Harrison Jr. as number one on their board, 6'3", 190, very, very fast guy. His father, of course, is a Hall of Famer. I don't know if Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be a Hall of Famer, but he is going to be a Pro Bowler. He is going to be a terrific player. So they take him right away. Next up is another trade. The Tennessee Titans are at number 7. So no, they're going to stick. They're going to stick right there. They're going to take, according to Pat Kerwin, they're taking the top edge guy in the draft, Dallas Turner of Alabama. It meets some of their needs. Okay, I got to tell you, in this draft, I do not rate the edge guys or the cornerbacks very highly. In fact, I feel like corner is becoming almost like running back. It's a second and third round thing. You can find guys just as good in the second and third round as you can in the first round. I mean, Trey Brown of the Seahawks, he was a 5th round pick in 2022, went to the Pro Bowl, led the NFL in interceptions. So Tariq Woolen, Trey Brown, these are guys found in the 4th and 5th round. So why I wouldn't ever spend a 1st round pick on a cornerback unless his name is Devon Witherspoon, who really, really played well for the Seahawks last year. Okay, so the Atlanta Falcons are up, but, again, this is Jim Miller. Jim Miller thinks they're going to slide down and take a corner. You look at their needs, edge, cornerback, wide receiver. There's some good edge players here. There's Jared Verse, there's Chop Robinson, but he thinks they're going to slide down and take Terrion Arnold, the cornerback from Alabama. I wouldn't take a corner top 10, like I said, unless his name is Devon Witherspoon, and it's not. All right, now we come back to Chicago, and here Kerwin was just expressing that he felt like he had a deal with the Rams for the Rams to come up and take a player here at number 9, and they were going to trade down and pick up even more picks, but he said, look, there's a guy on here that I absolutely, if I'm the Bears, can't wait on. I'm not going to wait on. I'm going to take him. He's an edge guy. We've already had quarterback, our number 1 need, taken. He's going to take Jared Verse, the edge from Florida State, which when you draft a new quarterback, you need to draft guys around him. You need to get him guys that can block for him. And there's a ton of offensive tackles and guards in this 1st round. You need to get him a running back. You can get those in the 2nd round. You need to get him tight ends and wide receivers. I cannot believe with Brock Bowers and Romo and Dunze still on the board that the Bears would take an edge guy, because you can get edge guys in the 2nd round of this draft. But that's what they did. That's what Pat Kerwin had him doing. I think he's smart. I think he knows something. So we're going to just, do what they did. The Jets, however, are not going to hesitate. The elite prospect in this draft, the Georgia tight end, Brock Bowers. This is a guy, I want the Seahawks to take a quarterback, but if Brock Bowers slides to 16, I'd say take him, even though he's a tight end. He's not really in need position. This guy has superstar written all over him, another weapon for Aaron Rodgers to throw to. Absolutely think that that's going to happen if he slides there. Okay, so now number 11, we have a trade between the Vikings and the Raiders. Why do we have a trade between the Vikings and the Raiders? Well, the Vikings have their eye on somebody, and so they are going to move up, or the Raiders have their eye on somebody, so they're going to move up into this spot. We're going to go Raiders trade with the Vikings. Where are the Vikings? There they are. And the trade is they are going to pick 13 and 77, their 3rd round pick, for 11. Minnesota is going to say yes. The Raiders are going to pop up into that number 11 spot because they have a couple quarterbacks they like. There's this young guy from Purdue who was their starter for a while. They like him, and they like Gardner Minshew. So Kerwin thinks they're not really that urgent on a quarterback. I can't see them passing up Michael Penix, and if I'm trading up to number 11, I'm thinking that's who they're going to take, is Michael Penix. But according to what Kerwin thinks, They take Rome Odunze, the wide receiver from Washington. Here's the thing: at number 11, they traded up and they make it the best wide receiver in a draft that has at least 3 or 4 really good ones. So he may be better than Malik Neighbors or Jared Verse or not Marvin Harrison Jr. and Brock Bowers. But I think all these guys are excellent receivers. So that's the way it's going to go. All right, number 12. This is a pick I don't agree with again because I don't agree with taking corners in this draft at all. I mean, if you look over at Rob Staten's, big board. He's only got 2 corners in the first round, Terrion Arnold and Quinyon Mitchell. Now, granted, that's one of the 2 guys that's going to go here, but these guys are not top 10 picks. So top 12, top 10 picks, but he's got Quinyon Mitchell going to the Cardinals at number 12. I don't think that's a desperate need. I think there's better football players at this stage of the draft, but if I was the Cardinals, I'd be building a monstrosity around Kyler Murray. That's what I would be doing. All right, so that's pick number 12. Now at 13, we have the Vikings, but there's going to be another trade. The Colts want to trade up with the Vikings. They've already dropped from 11 to 13. So now they're going to trade again. Indianapolis is going to trade with Minnesota, and they're going to offer their 15th pick and the 82nd pick, which is a 3rd round pick. You just did a deal for a 3rd round pick for your 13th. You're going to take it. It's been rejected, so we'll do it again. Only this time we'll do it backwards. We will do Minnesota trading with Indianapolis. We'll do the exact same trade, 13 for 15 and 82, and it will be accepted. Oh, come on. 13 and 82. Did I do it wrong? Pros trade. Okay, Indianapolis wants to trade with Minnesota. They're going to trade 15 and 82 for 13. Still rejected. Okay, we'll try it again. This time we'll try it. Colts and then Vikings. It doesn't want to go through. It just went through before. Fuck, come on. Okay. Now try it. Minnesota and Indy. 13 for 15 and 82. And let's throw in something else. Okay, it keeps being rejected. We're going to just flip. These things drive me nuts. You should be able to force a trade. But we're going to call this the Colts instead of the Vikings. They're going to take Liatu Latu, the edge rusher from UCLA, formerly of Washington. That's actually not the Vikings. That's actually the Colts. If you look over here, I ran through this whole thing just to test it. I ran through the mock draft simulator here just to test it. And here, the trade did work. So why it didn't work over on here, in real time, I do not know. However, that brings the Saints up. Now, the Saints have a lot of needs on offense. You're looking at offensive tackle, offensive guard. Tackle is the biggest need. Actually, I guess the Saints coach, Dennis Allen, said Ryan Ramczyk might not even be able to play, so they're looking for a big tackle, maybe a right guard or a left guard. The best tackle in this draft is Talise Fuaga from Oregon State. They jump on him. They take him. Absolutely no problem. Now the Vikings are finally on the board right in front of the Seattle Seahawks. They are going to finally get their quarterback. I got to be honest. If the Vikings are sitting at number 11, yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice to get some more picks in this draft for them, a couple of 3rd round picks, but they're not going to do that. Remember, this is the Colts. This is the Vikings. They're not going to do that. They're going to take the best, I think the 3rd best quarterback in this draft. I'd have no problem taking him number 1, to be honest with you. I'd take him 1, 2, or 3. Michael Penix Jr. of Washington. Absolutely. If this happens, if the Vikings take, or whoever takes Penix right before the Seahawks, it'll be an absolute fucking tragedy for the 12s because Penix is a perfect fit for the Seahawks, for their new offense, their new coach, the players they have, the kind of balls that he throws, the deep balls exactly what DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and Jackson Smith and Najigba can take advantage of, and Noah Fant for that matter. Um, so I cannot see the Seahawks if they start seeing this happening. I can't see them sitting here when they could probably leapfrog over and get their quarterback. You notice there were some comments this week from John Schneider saying they're going to sign a couple more interior offensive linemen, a couple more guards. They're going to sign them, veteran guards, and a lot of people are like, "Well, I'm not wild about this player. I'm not wild about Lake and Tomlinson or whoever it is that they're talking about." But they're doing is they're setting up so that they don't have to take any particular position. And that means that they're set up to go after a quarterback. Do they have a lot to bargain with? No. If they gave up their third round pick um, to get up in front of the Vikings to take Michael Penix in this scenario, would it be worth it? Yeah, because they need a quarterback. And you could always trade next year's number one for 2 or 3 third round picks. Some team that has 2 third round picks this year and one next year. You could send them a first round pick next year. So there's lots of different things they could do to get more picks on the second day, which is where the meat of this draft is. Now, if this really happened, and I was the general manager of the Seahawks, what I would try to do is trade out of 16 down into the mid 20s, one of the teams that wants one of these top tackles, and take either Bo Nix or Spencer Rattler, whoever was left. I don't know what the Seahawks will do if this happens. Jim Miller made the pick. He made the obvious thing, which is we're going to take this offensive guard. Troy Fautanu, listed as an offensive guard, also can play tackle, can play 2, possibly 3 positions along the offensive line. He's a really good football player. Don't get me wrong. He's going to go to the Pro Bowl. I think the comp for him is somebody like Jason Kelsey. I think he has the potential to be that good. He might even be a Hall of Famer. He might be the next Steve Hutchinson, who didn't go until the 17th or 18th pick in 2001. And yeah, he's a good football player, but unless we have the quarterback of the future on the squad, we're not going to the Super Bowl. And that was pointed out this week. So they had him taking Troy Fautanu. I don't have a problem with that. If all the quarterbacks are gone, if Bo Nix is gone, I don't have a problem with that. And I would have a problem with it, I guess, because it would be depressing because we still don't have the quarterback problem solved. All right, 17, Jacksonville, they stay put. They need corners. Their top need is a cornerback. The guy that they have them going for is not Kool-Aid McKinstry. It's Nate Wiggins from Clemson, taller corner, good player. The Bengals don't even hesitate. They need offensive tackles and defensive tackles. They're going to take Joe Alt from Notre Dame, who's probably waited too long. Now we come to the Rams. The Rams are trying to get up to number 9 to get one of the top edge guys. Their biggest need is edge or corner. But they also need to replace Aaron Donald, who retired. It was a little bit of a surprise. They take Johnny Newton from Illinois, the Fighting Illini, not the Illini. Seahawks retard Nelson is so dumb. The Illini. The Steelers stay put. They get a big offensive lineman for Russell Wilson. They got him taking J.C. Latham, the absolute monster tackle from Alabama. Yeah, 6'6", 305. The guy's huge. He's going to be plugging right in there. And Miami is desperate for offensive and defensive line help. And they're going to slide up in here and take the next best offensive lineman, Olu Fashanu. Anyway, Olu Fashanu goes to the Dolphins. That makes sense. Structural piece on the inside. They need to get the Dolphins are a typical warm weather Florida team. They're soft. They need to get bigger and tougher. The Eagles. Next up for the Eagles. This is an interesting pick. Jim Miller said the guy that he thinks that they could use corners, linebackers, safeties, wide receivers. Fletcher Cox retired. They could use a defensive tackle. If it was me and I was running this draft, if this was my mock draft, they'd be taking Byron Murphy right here to replace Fletcher Cox. But Jim Miller has him taking Brian Thomas, the wide receiver, to supplement their wide receiver core and give their quarterback give them somebody to throw to, which is good. Now the next pick I really disagree with, but again they're coming back. I think they're really overrating these these corners, but defensive backs. I don't think taking defensive backs in the first round is even a good idea. Remember, the Vikings actually, this is the Vikings actually, they got Michael Penix, their quarterback in the first round. I think you help your quarterback. Probably if Brian Thomas wasn't there, they might take a quarterback so that they can then trade away their wide receiver. But what he's got them doing is taking Cooper DeJean, a safety slash corner. And the reason you're a safety slash corner at 6'2" is because you're not really that great at either one. He's also a kick return guy. He could help replace Harrison Smith, who's sucked for about 7 years now. That's what he's got him doing. I don't know. I'm not wild about it. Anyway, number 24 is the Dallas Cowboys. What do they need? Well, we know what they need. They need offensive line help. They need it really badly. He's got them sliding down. Jim Miller has them sliding down and taking a guy, Graham Barton from Duke, who they saw apparently at the Senior Bowl and really liked his size and his ability to crush people. So he can play guard and he can play tackle, and they say he can even play center. So he could fill 1, 2, or 3 different needs. It'll allow them to move one of their other young offensive linemen out to left tackle to replace Tyron Smith. Okay, the Packers also need offensive tackles, and this is where I think these teams might be looking to trade up to 16 to Seattle to get one of the top offensive linemen. I'd be happy to do that, but the Packers are going to take Tyler Guyton, the offensive tackle from Oklahoma. He is, 326 pounds. Yeah, he's more like 340 pounds, but he's huge. He's talented. He's a crusher. They do need better offensive linemen. That makes a lot of sense. Tampa Bay, you got to get some help for Baker Mayfield. I would take maybe an edge, though, here, but they're going to go ahead and take Jackson Powers Johnson, center from Oregon. A lot of people think he's a really good player. When it comes to the inside players, basically Troy Fautanu and Jackson Powers Johnson are the guys. And, you never know. Tampa could be a team. They don't have a lot to trade with, but they could be a team that could be trading up to the Seahawks spot to try to get Troy Fautanu. But Jackson Powers Johnson isn't back. Now we're back to the Cardinals at 27. They don't hesitate. I can't believe Byron Murphy's going to last until 27, but he goes right there to the Cardinals. The Bills, they need wide receivers, safeties, and edges. Chop Robinson, one of the most highly rated edges, is there. I think he's listed as an elite player by Rob Staten. Yeah, he's listed actually as edge number 1 in a blue chip category. So they got a real deal there. Taking Chop Robinson. The Detroit Lions. Now, this is an odd pick because Jim Miller made this, or Pat Kerwin made this pick, and he said Braden Fisk. Now, I know Braden Fisk is moving up draft boards, and a lot of people really think he's a good player, but most people have him in the mid to late second round. I thought he might have gotten confused and actually meant Braylon Trice. Braden Fisk, Braylon Trice, their names sound a lot alike. Trice is generally regarded as a better player. Braden Fisk is way down here in like the 4th round. Where is Braden Fisk? Where are you? Did I go past you? Do I need to go to the edges? Yeah, I need to go to the edges. Okay, so we're gonna go up here and look for him. Where the hell did he go? Offense or defense, edge. Braylon Trice, and do they even have him listed? No, they don't have him listed. They have him listed as a defensive tackle. Yeah, they have him listed as a defense. He's either a 34 defensive end or a defensive tackle. Why can I not find it? It must be right in front of me. Where is he? Where is he? Braden Fisk. There he is. 4th round pick, 118. I think he meant Braylon Trice, but that's who he picked. So that's who we end up with. All right, pick number 30, the Ravens. We go back to the big board. Look, players that are considered by most people to be third and fourth round picks get taken in the first round all the time. Ravens are up. They have multiple needs: wide receiver, offensive guard, edge. They're not going to hesitate. They're going to take Amarius Mims. Guard is a bigger need for them, but maybe they can shuffle some people around on their offensive line. And now the 49ers, they have a deal here where Kerwin again had the 49ers trading out of the first round with the Tennessee Titans. So we're going to go 49ers and Titans. And the trade is going to be 31 for 38 and their first round pick in 2025. Let's have it go. My trade has been rejected. So let's try it again. Let's go Tennessee and San Francisco. And again, we're going to go 38 and a first for 31. And that trade has been accepted. The Titans jump in. They're on the clock. They are here to take one of the big tackles because tackle was one of their biggest needs. And they skipped it in the early part of the first round to take the edge. Who did they take? They took Dallas Turner, the edge. They're now going to come in and get one of the few remaining top-level tackles. No, it's not going to be Kingsley Sumatria. It's going to be Jordan Morgan, the offensive tackle from Arizona. And the Chiefs, well, their biggest need when they traded away Ladarius Sneed, the best corner in the NFL, became cornerback. This is a place where I would say, okay, it's a natural fit to start taking corners because all the corners in this draft are second rounders. They're going to take Kamari Lassiter, who they really like the athleticism of this guy over there at the Sirius NFL radio draft. So that is it. Let's slide over here to the full results. These are the actual full results. So the Patriots trade up to number 1 to take Caleb Williams. I think they're going to be disappointed with him. Jaden Daniels goes to the Redskins at number 2. The Redskins finally have a quarterback they can build around. The Bears, wow. Drake May is either a, efficient, more athletic Tom Brady type, or he's Mitchell Trubisky 2.0. It's a big risk, but everybody says take Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels. They did it. J.J. McCarthy goes 4th to the Broncos, who make a big jump up, trade away a lot to get their quarterback. They like him apparently better than Bo Nix. Malik Neighbors goes number 1 to as the first receiver taken to the Chargers. I don't agree with that. I think it's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. or Romo Dunze, but a lot of people like him. A lot of East Coast guys like him. Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't last longer than that. He goes to the New York Giants. Dallas Turner, the edge, goes to the Tennessee Titans. Terrion Arnold goes to Atlanta. Again, look at all these names of guys that are better players than Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner should be in here somewhere, and he's being taken on the 8th pick just based on need. Don't like it. Bears come back with Jared Verse. Again, if you're drafting a quarterback, draft some guys to block for him or guys that can catch. They have some good players. They certainly have DJ Moore. They just traded for the Chargers receiver whose name escapes me. I would take Brock Bowers here if I was them, or one of the tackles to block for Drake May. But Brock Bowers goes to the Jets. Aaron Rodgers is going to be very happy. Romo Dunze, the Raiders trade up and take Romo Dunze because he's just too good, and they feel satisfied with their quarterback position. That, I think, is foolish. Quinion Mitchell, the cornerback from Toledo, goes to Arizona. Again, too high. Liatu Latu goes to the Indianapolis Colts, who trade up with 3rd-round pick. They give up a 3rd-round pick to trade with the Vikings. Talise Fuaga, the offensive tackle, goes to Oregon from Oregon State, goes to the New Orleans Saints. Perfect sense, perfect fit for them. Michael Penix Jr., breaking the hearts of all knowledgeable Seahawks fans, goes right in front of the Seahawks. The Seahawks settle for a guard, Troy Fatanu. I don't think this is going to happen. They signed Ankrum. They could move Abraham Lucas or George Fant inside the guard. They have Anthony Bradford. They're going to sign 2, according to Schneider, probably 2 more veteran guards. I don't think they're doing this. But this is what everybody thinks that doesn't really know the Seahawks that well. Oh, Pat Kerwin usually knows them, know them pretty well. But this is Jim Miller. Nate Wiggins, the corner, goes to the Jags. I would go something else. I'd help Trevor Lawrence a little bit more with some offense there, and then go corner in the second round. Joe Alt from Notre Dame goes to the Bengals. Perfect fit for them. Jerry Newton goes to the LA Rams to replace Aaron Donald. Okay. JC Latham, the offensive tackle from Alabama, the monstrous guy, goes to help protect Russell Wilson. Good for them. Oli Fashanu goes to Miami. That makes complete sense to me. Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver from LSU. I don't like that pick for the Eagles. I think Byron Murphy here, but okay. Cooper DeJean, the cornerback / safety, goes to the Vikings. Again, if you're drafting a quarterback, draft some guys to block for him or some guys that can catch to help him. Justin Jefferson is not enough. He wants ridiculous money. I would say if I was them, if I'm sitting here, I would probably at this pick 23, I'd probably draft Byron Murphy and trade Justin Jefferson for another first round pick in this draft. For a first and some other picks. That's what I would do. But the Vikings, Harrison Schmidt sucks. He sucked for a long time. He was never that good. Graham Barton, the offensive guard tackle center, goes to the Cowboys. Makes sense. Tyler Guyton, the offensive tackle from Oklahoma, goes to the Packers. Makes sense. Jackson Powers Johnson makes sense in a way for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Look, they re-signed their Mike Williams. They re-signed Baker. You got to get some help on offense. That makes sense. Byron Murphy goes to the Arizona Cardinals, their second pick. They went defense when they should be going offense to help Kyler Murray, but, I didn't make the picks. Chop Robinson, the edge to Penn State. Yeah, if he lasts to 28, he's a great deal for them. I mean, Von Miller had 0 sacks last year. Braden Fisk, the defensive tackle, goes to the Lions. I think you might have meant Braylon Trice instead of Braden Fisk, but that's what they got. Better make sure you write that name down right on the card. Amarius Mims, the tackle, goes to the Ravens. That makes sense. The Titans trade up. They missed out on a tackle here at number 7 to take the edge. They move it into the latter half of the first round to take Jordan Morgan from Arizona. And the most obvious pick is the Chiefs taking a corner because they traded away L'Jarius Sneed and they take Kamari Lassiter to replace him. So that's what Pat and Jim think. I like some of what they think. I don't like some of what they think. And I really do think it's really going to be interesting to watch Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears at number 1, because the Bears do only have those 4 picks in this draft. I could see them trading down twice out of 1 and out of 9, as long as they don't trade too much, too deep, and as long as they still get the quarterback they want. So if they like Drake May and they trade back to 3, they're likely to do that. That makes a lot of sense. And if they don't like Caleb Williams, so they got the quarterback they wanted. They got 2 more picks, a second and a third. Makes sense to me. Second and an early third, early second, early third. You could pile up some more players. I'm not sure that as long as they go offense with these 2 picks to help their new quarterback, then I think it's okay for them to take a chance on the Jared versus the edge here. Denver traded up. They traded up pick number 12, pick 76, and a first and a second from next year for the fourth pick in the draft. Okay, to take the quarterback they wanted. I don't think JJ McCarthy's any good, but some teams do. The Vikings and the Raiders do a trade. 13 and 77 were traded for 11, and same thing here with the Cardinals. Part of the trade that was made earlier, and then we had the Colts receiving the Colts trading 13 and 77 for pick number 11, and the Vikings trade will go back to 15, take Michael Penix, and then the last trade was Jordan Morgan, 38 and a first in 2025 for 31. So the 49ers only moved back 7 places, and they get a first round pick next year. So, okay, that's it. That's what they came up with. I think it is very interesting stuff. I would not do some of the things that were done on there, but they did. That's what Pat and Jim think. I think it's fascinating. We'll be back. I'll be back maybe in a couple of days, maybe even tomorrow if I get bored or Manchester City loses. It'll be miserable. I'll come back and I will do my own first round mock with trades that I would do instead of what these guys did. And we'll do a comparison. All right. Thanks for being here just for fun. Now I'm going to go kick back and watch some basketball. Everybody have a great day, and I will see you again soon. Don't forget, get over to Seahawk Boys Fearless and Stupid YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, ring the little bell, comment. I'll comment. Just anything. Could be we can talk about anything. And just to get the activity flowing over there and get people to notice the channel a little bit because there's too many dumb shits out there talking Seahawks football that need to be straightened out. That's what I'm just doing a public service. Just doing a public service. Everybody have a great Saturday afternoon. I had a great Friday night. I might take a nap. See you guys later.